Hello everybody, good to see you again. Yes, I've been busy on the Addy and I've made one project so far. I've almost completed it. There is just one tiny thing to go and I haven't decided whether I want to crochet that or do it on, you know, the very small knitting mills. You'll see, because I've already done something on there. So this is it. I'll do it sideways. It's a yoga mat bag. So I started with the orange and went on to the yellow and then the orange. And on the top, and I'll show you the bottom as well, what I did, I put it on the needles and I knitted a few rounds. Then I did eyelet rows, eyelet stitches. There, you might be able to see that better. And I finished with a picot edging, and I made an I-cord. Now I might want to make another one of them for the strap. I don't know if you've ever seen them. They are a strap that is, it's got tiny loops on both ends, it's a very long thing, and then you thread one end through the other loop and leave an even bigger loop, and then you thread that big loop through the other little loop, and basically you have two loops either end, so they go on the mat either end, and the straight bit makes the strap and it pulls it in so it doesn't slide off. So anyway, the only thing I'm a bit about is the base. It's not quite what I was hoping for. I was expecting something to cover the whole of the base, because when I practiced that piece before, as you can see here, it's a much bigger size, and if I were to put that piece up on just to measure, you can see it fits it. I mean, I have got a photograph that shows it. Just I put an elastic band over the yoga mat bag so I knew it fit. I don't know why, because I did input the correct formulas on the website and follow the instructions, but for some reason, even though it said the decrease happens over 11 rows, it was actually 6, and although I did an extra one, it still wasn't enough. But never mind, I mean, it doesn't look too bad, and plus it's the bottom of the tube, but it's a bit okay. But apart from that, that was my first project. And that was a bit of a challenge to get started with, because first of all I did it single yarn, and I come to do this yellow bit, and I was so far in and I started to drop several stitches in a row. I was like, and I panicked and I didn't know what to do. So I just wound the whole thing off, frogged it. Oh, but before I frogged it, I realised actually that yarn looks a bit too thin and it looks too stretchy, and I need a bit more density for this, especially if something like a yoga mat is going to go into it. So I double stranded it. Now you'd think that having done this section and this section and this section, that when I double strand it with another yarn it would still be the same amount of rounds, because I did 30 each. That was my intention, and I did originally do 30, so the first 3 were 30 rounds, but when I come to it, the very first one was something like 28, the second one was like 31. How is that possible? When I've already done 30 rounds in that yarn, how could it be less? That's really strange. Okay, then I realised there were tension issues, which caused the drop stitches, and I fathomed out that, and as you'll see next, there's a little snippet of video to show you how I overcame that, so it can be a tip for other people if they so need it. So as you can see, I've got the Addy set up, and it's got double stranded yarn in it, as you can see from here. What I did find periodically was that it would drop loops, and sometimes it was just like part of the double strand that would be dropped, and it was all tension related issues, and it was all my own fault. So I decided to remedy that. It's through the feeder as normal, it's all set up ready, it comes down here. Now I noticed that if I pinched my thumb and finger together and fed the yarn first of all through there and held here just underneath the clock, the counter, sorry, as I turned, and obviously turned slow, not too fast. That helped moderate my tension so that I didn't skip any loops. I didn't drop any stitches. So tension and speed was a big thing I've learnt about this. So I'm not going any faster than cast on speed, but I'm not going at it hammer and tongs either. And as you can see, it's working brilliantly. I just wanted to show you what I've been working on at my knitting group. As you can see here, it's the beginnings of a scarf. It's called Pleated Pattern Scarf, and I found it on a blog site called thetucker.com. I will leave a link in the description box below. It's only a 6-row repeat, and it's working really beautifully, and as you can see the colour changes in this yarn. This yarn is the James C. Brett Midnight Sonata. So although the yarn pattern for the scarf, the pleated pattern scarf, said worsted weight, this is actually, it says double knit, but it's one of those double knits where it's incredibly thin, and it's more like 4-ply baby weight, which I believe is equivalent to your fingering or sport yarn. But I thought for a scarf it doesn't really matter, and it's coming on nice, really, really nice. Okay, so last year, it was about this time last year, I started to make a jacket pattern, and I didn't do a swatch today. And even when I did do a swatch, well, I need to show you something. This is the jacket pattern. As you can see, it's really nice. And this is my first attempt at it, and I got that far. The yarn I used was totally incorrect, and I did not do a swatch. Big mistake. And apart from something strange going on here, which would probably have been rectified in blocking, it probably doesn't look that bad until you look at my revision of it. Because when one of the ladies at the group said, "Is that the right gauge?" I went, I don't know. And then I made another one which was even longer. But look at the difference there. I'm going to lay it over the top. The original's on the bottom. This one's on the top, and look at the difference there. Now, that's the front left. Imagine the same for the front right. So that'll be perhaps double that. And imagine again how much the difference would be in the back piece, and even the sleeves. So a huge lesson learned there. But I was plodding on with it, obviously, for longer than that, the original. I managed to do, it's a 36 pattern repeat, and I managed to do, 4.5 of these cables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, so I did 6.5 of the other one, but it looks massive in comparison. I lost my motivation making it, basically, and I kept thinking, actually, even though I've got the right gauge now and had to increase my needle size, I really think I've used the wrong yarn. So I again sourced a different yarn, and I was happy with what I sourced. And this is it. I haven't made very much progress because I've only just restarted it. So as you can see, off I go again. And then I need to lay it over the other two. So there's the first one. There's the second one laid over it with, as you can see, the extra bit. And here's the third one laid over that, and look again, I'll move it across. Look at that difference. from there to there to there. I think originally I would have been making a child's jacket if I'd have continued with that. Oh dear, yes, that is a huge difference. Lessons learnt. And anyway, strangely enough, when I did a swatch for this yarn, this is the Marron yarn. I've just caked some of it off because there's no way I'm carrying 400-gram balls around with me, because it just annoys me. So I caked some off and I'll work with that bit until I run out. When I did the gauge for that one, even though this is an Aran yarn and this one was a double knit, but it's a very thin double knit, it's more like 4-ply, I realised I had the exact gauge for the pattern. So it was 3¼ needles for the very bottom, and the main body of it is 4mm needles. And with the Aran yarn I had exactly that. So I'm still learning about gauge, and I'm not sure what that tells me about my gauge when I had to, in the proper yarn, the proper weight yarn, I had to actually increase my needle size. With the Aran, I'm actually at the right size. Does that mean I knit too tight? I don't know. Well, the stitches don't feel tight on the needles when I'm working along. I don't know. But anyway, there's a massive difference there, as you can see. It's kind of scary. So I'm glad I held off on that. So now, what am I going to do with that? I just looked at the Addy there and I'm thinking. But actually, no, I've seen something and I'm really, really excited about it. Has anybody ever heard of Sweater 101? Because I'm watching these little videos of how to make this child sweater, and I just want to learn how to make a sweater, or a jumper as we say it in England. Yeah, I want to learn how to make a jumper. And what a really good size to work with, a child's, yeah? Rather than an adult, like I'm working with this jacket, an adult size, and it's like, what have I taken on? But I'll get there in the end. That's an LTP, a long-term project. Yeah, so I thought, yeah, I'll make a child's sweater with using, oh, what's the lady's name with the sweater one? Oh no, her first name is Cheryl, and her surname begins with the same letter as mine as well. Is it Brew? I'm not sure, but anyway, there's a series of videos, and you measure, basically you do a swatch, and you go by your gauge for stitches and rows, and then it all works out from there somehow. I don't know how you do it, it's just amazing. So I thought I can do that, rather than, I suppose, yeah, it looks quite easy. I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. So that's another one for consideration. At least this I can dig into this yarn, which I came to call this yarn chocolate, toffee and vanilla ice cream, because that's what it looks like to me. And it is nice yarn, it's very, very soft. It's King Cole Comfort. But it's totally inappropriate for the jacket, really is. Lesson learnt there. What am I going to make next on the Addy? I don't know, but I've got a load of leftover yarns from other projects, which have just been hanging around looking pretty, but not knowing what to do with them. I could whack them together and make, well, yeah, just like all sorts. Call it all sorts, because I don't know where else to call it, whatever it is going to be. It's going to be an all sorts project. Maybe another yoga mat bag. So I shall leave it there, and hopefully next time I can show you what else I've been working on. Alright, take care, bye bye.